Welcome to the Weigh-In podcast, your prescription for a healthier life, where wellness is more than just a number on a scale. We'll dive deep into not just weight loss, but the medical, emotional, and lifestyle aspects of well-being.
In each episode, we'll weigh in on hot topics ranging from diet myths and exercise trends to mental health and chronic disease management, providing you with the evidence-based advice to guide your health decisions. Remember, it's not just about the weight on the scale, but about creating a healthier, more balanced you. Hi, everyone. So this is a special episode where it's unscripted. We don't have any guests. We kind of know what we're talking about, but for the most part, it's just going to be, off the cuff. So anything can happen, I guess.
Anything can happen. Pretend you're just hanging out with me and Czarina and listen to what we talk about. This is it, but with no bad words and without the TMI.
Exactly. Yeah, so we got back from Colorado in May, and we met up with a friend who lives there, and she took us to Vail, which was gorgeous. This mountain town. Yeah, and we went in shoulder season, so it wasn't very busy because typically people are there in the winter to ski and snowboard, of course, and then summertime, I think there's quite a few activities, but May was pretty quiet, which, I really enjoyed.
Can we take a moment to debrief on this hike that we did? I feel like we never did that, Czarina, and I feel like we should.
Yeah,
so
set it up.
Yeah, let's talk it out. So we went on a hike. Now I'm just going to set sort of give you a little bit of background. So Emily is our friend. She is also an NP. She does kind of similar things to what we do for a living. She's also super, super healthy and very, very fit, very active lifestyle. Your girl seems to hike and do all the things on a very regular basis, which is amazing, and made her an amazing tour guide for our trip. But that being said, your girl Emily does some very intense hiking. Emily called herself kind of making it easy, just because Czarina and I were kind of a struggle couple. So I'm not a hardcore hiker, and then Czarina was sick. Coming in, she came in with this plague cough the whole time, the whole trip. I felt so bad for her. So Czarina could barely breathe, and then I don't hike like that. And then the change in altitude was kind of messing with me a little bit as it was. So we went on this hike. It was beautiful. But it was definitely a challenging hike, but one of those moments where you get to the top and you're like, okay, I did that. I feel really good about myself. How did you feel during the hike?
Yeah. Once we got past a certain point, I think when it kept going uphill, I was kind of having trouble, breathing as well. And then it kind of just flattened out and it was fine. But there was still snow melting off. And so we kind of had to get around that. I kept falling into my foot kept
that
going.
That was a crazy plot twist. This was in May. I was not expecting there to be, I know it's Colorado, but I think there was going to be snow on the ground.
Yeah, I expected it because, it takes a while for it to melt off, I guess. But, I was thinking, I'm going to just step into this little area here. And then I go, whoop. But no, super, super cool hike. I really liked it. Vail was super gorgeous. And then we just took a walk by the village. And we're like, oh, look at all these houses that we can't afford.
Yes. Houses were beautiful. Even the coffee was good. The whole experience, just being able to just chill and lay back for a little bit was so nice.
Yeah, and I really liked Denver. It was my first time going there. Yes. I didn't know what to expect. I kind of just always hear just so much about the mountains and stuff, but downtown Denver kind of remind me of Portland, where it's just a lot of suburbia, but around every corner, oh, here's a coffee shop or this little deli or restaurant. So super cool.
Super cute. Super cute. Everything about it was really cute. And as an aside, I feel like I don't do this enough. I feel yes, I've done girls trips, but I haven't done recently a lot of girls trips that have that slumber party vibe that we had going on. So that was so fun. We had a day where we did the hike, right? And then we got lunch. And what did we have we had bison, right? We did bison burgers that we had.
Oh yeah, that was at a brewery.
Went to a brewery. We had we ate burgers, which, by the way, you can totally eat a burger even if you're a super healthy person. It's okay. And then we went to the hot springs, which was so cool.
Yes.
So cool. And then we had like we did like face masks, which unrelated. Serena gave 0 warning. So after we get back, right, we each like are jumping into the showers, like, like getting ready for the evening. And I come out and Serena didn't give me the heads up. Serena has this like serial killer mask on her face. She had this mask on the couch. I didn't even know she was in there, you guys. I thought she was still in her room. And it totally
I was like, hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie. Like nothing. Like it totally freaked me out. But then I like low-key wanted to have one. It was funny because she scared Emily too. But yeah, so we each like picked a mask and then we watched movies. Although we're little old ladies, I don't think we lasted that long. I don't know
you didn't. No, Emily and I did. We watched we watched that Anne Hathaway rom-com where she's dating a younger guy. Like she's a single mom, like I think 40, freshly 40, because she celebrates her birthday. And then she meets this guy at Coachella. And
man, I saw it.
Yeah, well, we couldn't tell because you were like turned over on your side.
Girl, like, it was a long day. I had to rest my eyes intermittently throughout the movie.
Yeah, so she would just rise up like every 30 minutes. Are they back together?
Are they back together?
Did they break up?
Toxic ass relationship.
No, it made sense.
It made sense. It was super cute. It was a really
what was it called again? It was called The Idea of You on Amazon.
And the guy was a hottie, right? Who was it? Who was that actor?
He's actually in another show. I haven't watched it, but it's like a old-timey show. Like
old-timey show.
Yeah, like one of those, like with the kings and queens and whatever. I can't remember the name of it, but he's in that show as well.
He was a snack. He was like my reason for like waking up. Every time I doze off, I'm like, wait a minute, let me take a look. But also that and wondering what on earth Anne Hathaway's skincare routine was, because she looked so good. Yes. So good. I would like wake up and be like, okay, all right. But I did admittedly lie and act like I wasn't asleep. I'm one of those people who like dozes but then lies about it. I was not sleeping at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then Serena had that damn mask on giving me side eye, like, okay. Looking like a serial killer.
Yeah, but we'll definitely have Emily on the podcast because our intention was to record there, but we were just having too much fun.
We were having too much fun. We had to make an executive decision just not to do it. I was mad too because I know you struggled too with suitcase space, and we had brought all the equipment, you guys, that we were having too much fun. But sure Emily's going to be so fun to have on the show because beyond the fact that she's super brilliant, her background is like primary care, and then she has this weight loss practice. Because she's like super hardcore fit, and you guys are gonna be like, well, what do you mean by hardcore? Y'all will see when you talk to her. But we were definitely talking about our practices a lot, and we would talk to Emily, and we'd be like, oh, this is what I do when I talk about physical activity with my patients, and Serena would be like, this is what I do when I talk about physical activity when I talk about with my patients, and then Emily talking about she does demos. Emily demonstrates. If you're Emily's patient, she's gonna get down and show you how to squat. She gonna do. I mean, I'm exaggerating. I don't know what she does, but she was like, "I demonstrate," and I looked at her and I was like, "You girl, I know you do. I know you do."
No, she's amazing. Like she'll work out, super early. That was another thing. She was like, do you want to go to this Orange Theory class? It's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then like the day before, I signed up for the 7 a.m. class. And I was like, oh my God.
I had the day prior already gracefully bowed out of it. I forget why. I was like, oh, my flight's coming really late and I'm going to be tired. Like you guys, I need some R&R. You guys have fun without me. But Serena was still all in. And I was like, and then Serena was like, I don't know.
Yeah, because my stupid flight kept getting delayed, and so I didn't come in until like 1 a.m. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to set this one out actually.
But she went. She went. And the other thing about Emily is she prioritizes her sleep. She's like the poster girl for like a very like living like a really, really healthy, like balanced lifestyle. Like Emily's so good at setting boundaries. Like if she knows she needs to wake up for her class, then doesn't matter what she has going on. She's going to let you know, I got to get my sleep because I have to do X, Y, and Z, including my healthy workout routine in the morning. And I love that because I know I'm guilty of like, if I have visitors or guests, I'm kind of like, let's, like, oh, like maybe I'll skip my workout routine this morning and we'll like go do breakfast or something instead. But I loved that Emily like instead incorporated us into like what her morning routine was. And when we were like, no, we can't do it, she was like, all right, get some sleep. I'll check you later. And I love that. And by the way, all those times
Yeah.
where we needed to catch our breath on the hike, Emily wasn't even short of breath. She didn't
I
even
know.
sleep. She looked bored. She looked bored, like
I know.
like
She's
just a
here with her
light walk.
cute little top, and like I'm here with my vest, which I got made fun of. Like her husband's like, "You're wearing a vest right now." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. That's where she was telling us how her husband does the hike in like flip flops or something, right? He's like super healthy and fit. He's like super fit too. But she was saying how like he likes to, what are those types of shoes that he wears? I forget what she said.
Chacos
But he
or
does like
something.
chacos, some shoes that aren't even like hiking shoes. And I was wearing my very hiking shoes. And your girl was, I was so worried I was going to like slip and fall because it was so slippery. Czarina had said that there might be snow and she was bringing her snowy hiking boots. But you know how people from Cali, those of you that are East Coast listening, you know, people from Cali and like other coasts, they're always so extra when it comes to like cold weather or snow. I'm like, those are those Cali vibes. She just thinks there's going to be snow because it's not Cali. So I thought Czarina was just being extra. And so when she told me she was bringing her snowy hiking boots, I was like, okay, West Coast girl. But turns out she was right. She was definitely right. And turns out I definitely was the one who had some damp socks. I got my socks a little snowy, but luckily I did bring the mom and me had backup socks on deck in the hiking pack.
Yeah. No, I went too hard on the weather because I was afraid, like it was saying the 30s, 50s, and I was like, that seems cold. So I did bring my big ass jacket, which I didn't end up using. But I'm just glad I had it, something to prepare for. But
yeah,
overall,
Emily confused me because Emily kept saying it's gonna be nice weather, and then we would like fact check to look at weather.com for the weather report, and it looked like it was gonna be nice but cold.
Yeah, and everyone's idea of nice and cold is so different. So I was just preparing for the worst. So yeah.
Very, very fun. If you haven't done a girls or boys trip in a while, I highly recommend. It's totally worth it, especially to like experience somewhere new where you haven't been and just like have some girl time. It was really nice.
Yeah. And especially just normalizing adult sleepovers. It's like,
oh my gosh,
as we get older, we don't do that. Like, I saw this TikTok video and this girl was saying, how come we just only prioritize dinner or lunch and we're just meeting up for like an hour? Like, I miss those days where we would just hang out with our friends like for hours or sometimes days. It's like we don't have that anymore because, of course, we're busy and we have other priorities. But yeah, totally book the trip.
Totally book a trip. Do it. Make sure you like set your boundaries and say kind of like what your hard stops are. Just like how Emily was like, I need my workout routine. When we were booking this trip, we were looking at different spaces. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. I need my own room.
Yeah.
I need my own room. Which everybody else was in total agreement with as well. But like just in general, I feel like the nice thing about being of age, like being a grown up, is being able to be like, well, I need this and I need this in order to have a good time. And for those of you that have spouses or are married, it is nice to get the bed to yourself every now and then. So
yeah. And then also just like that, you break that notion that, all like married couples, like always have to travel together. Like they can't travel with their friends anymore. Cause I was hearing that before I got married. And I found that wild because like the friends that I traveled with, they weren't married, but they were in relationships. And like their boyfriends were totally fine with it at the time. They're just like, yeah, totally. And even now that they're married too, they're still okay with them traveling. I just find that so important to still do the same things that you're, doing beforehand.
Exactly.
Like just because you're married.
Like, yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Just because you have kids doesn't mean you have to like, I can't travel until they're 18, until they're in college. Like that is not true. So
no, you still need to travel, have a good time. My kids missed me, but they had so much fun without me. They went to Six Flags. They had a blast, and it was fun to come home and like share stories. And I was in such a great like mental space coming back. You know what I mean? And so I think it's important to take that time for yourself. Even if you don't have a spouse, even if you don't have kids, just take time away from like work. Use that PTO. You don't need to be a hero. Like take the time. It's totally, totally worth it.
Yeah, or even doing solo trips. Like I have a couple of friends that they'll just go to like say Disneyland by themselves. They'll go to Vegas by themselves. Like, you can't just wait for other people to go with you. And sometimes you need, like you said, that mental space to kind of just go back into your own world just better, especially if you're going
Yep.
through stuff and you're like, you know what, I need to just reset and I need to go
Yep.
to the spa and I need to gamble or I need to like
Yes.
just do something nice for
Yes.
myself.
Yep.
So, yeah,
I love that.
absolutely.
You're absolutely right. Have you ever done a
Yeah.
solo trip?
Kind of, but it was to meet other people. Like, I was really into this phase where I wanted to go to like national parks if I could. So, I went to the Grand Canyon through a meetup group. I don't know if you've heard of Meetup.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. So I've done that like a couple of times, and one of them was to the Grand Canyon. So, yeah, I was like, I mean, it could be a slightly dangerous, yes, because you are kind of meeting up with people you don't know. I met up with this couple that was in LA, so we carpooled together. So I got to get to know them really
Oh,
well. And then at the Grand Canyon, there was all these other people coming from, I guess, LA as well. And we were all like, really cool friends for a couple of days. It was so fun.
that sounds really
So
fun.
yeah, yeah. So it doesn't mean that you have to like be by yourself the whole time. You could totally go on your own, but meet up with other people that are also probably by themselves. And I think like that's the best way to meet people.
And
So
also to make
yeah,
sure you don't lose out on experiences. Like, do you want to not see the Grand Canyon because you don't have anybody to go with? Do you know what I mean? Because somebody else's work
yeah,
schedule doesn't jive with yours. So
exactly.
that's so cool.
And then you could always like do your own itinerary too, especially if you're just someone that's like, you want to see certain things and you have other people that are just on vacation and want to sleep in.
Solo trips for sure. An awesome thing to do. I did it earlier in January-ish. I went to Florida and highly recommend, like, same thing. I think if you're like scared to do a solo trip or haven't done one before, like doing something where you're visiting friends is good. So I like had a hotel to myself, which was
Mm-hmm.
delightful.
Mm-hmm.
And then hung out with, met up with like multiple different friends that live in that area. We had like such a great time. But it also
Yeah.
is nice being able to like set your own itinerary to do things that you may want to do.
Well, speaking of trips, for the summer, I will be leaving to the Philippines for 2 weeks, and so it'll be
Like you're
very
leaving
exciting.
imminently, right? Like in a few days.
Yeah, yeah. Well, by the time this comes out, I think I'll be back. But yes, um, I am going there with my family, and it'll be a nice reunion because we haven't been back since, or as a family, haven't been back since 2015. So it's been about 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And we went
So how much of your family is traveling from there to here? Like from Cali to Philippines? Like
um,
everybody?
yeah, from my dad's side. So I have family in San Francisco, I believe. Most of them are going. And then my family in Vegas. And then I have family in New York as well. So it's like a whole thing. But yeah, and then my parents, ever since they've been retired, they've been back, a lot too. They stayed there until I think January 12th. That's like the end of November to January 12th.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, and then my wedding was like in February 4. No, sorry, February 3. So my mom was like, how can I help you with the wedding and stuff? And I'm like, Mom, you're going to be gone. It's fine. We have it handled. And so, yeah, I was like asking my cousin, like, is there a gym nearby? Because like, I just don't want to get in that slump where you don't work out. And then by the time you get back and, you're trying to get into the routine again, you just feel weak because you haven't done anything.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. It's so hard because when you go a long time, you feel like you've like erased all your hard work.
Yeah, exactly,
And then
exactly.
you're like starting back from square one. I hear you on that.
Yeah, and then like I mean Filipino food is great. It is amazing, but it is just so heavy on the stomach that like I think when I went back to the Philippines in 2015 towards the end of the second week, I was like, I just want a juice. I don't want to eat any more food. I am so full because they're so nice over there, but my God, you are stuffed like to the brim. Like you're eating breakfast and like
Oh
they
my
would cook a
gosh.
whole ass like buffet. It would be, yeah, all the greatest hits of just Filipino food for breakfast. It's just breakfast. And then like
Oh my
we go
gosh.
to lunch and then it's another big meal. And then like maybe in between breakfast or lunch, you're having a snack, which is like a big snack. And then in between lunch and dinner, you're having a snack. and then dinner
Tell me,
comes.
like, what constitutes as like a Filipino snack?
I remember one time we went to just a restaurant over there that they have here in the States too. It's called Max's. And we have this dessert called halo halo, meaning like to mix. And so it's just a lot of these ingredients. It's shaved ice with like ice cream, like grass jelly, and like beans and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's like a nice sweet drink or dessert, I should say. But then they also had like chicken over there too. So they're like, "Oh, let's order some chicken." It's like this is like, I was like, dude, this is like turning into a whole thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna be hungry
Like,
for
this
dinner.
is more than the snack I signed up for.
Right. Yeah. That's just another thing that I need to be wary of, is just like, I mean, I want to indulge, of course, but sometimes it's too much. I'm like, okay, I need to stop.
I think that that's hard. And I think for those of us that are in these sort of situations where culturally it's like considered polite to eat, sometimes I tell people, like, something you can do is try to have your answers prepared in advance. So like whatever your reason is for like stopping or like not being able to eat as much, kind of like have whatever your reason is, which as an aside, it doesn't have to be the truth. Prepare your answer and your response. That way you feel confident enough to set your boundary about like when you're done, when you're eating or when you're not eating. Because I understand it, especially when you have like an auntie that wants to feed you, or a grandma or anybody that wants to feed you. They take it personally when you don't eat enough, and it's considered a little impolite to not sort of like finish your food, and they think you didn't like it. Right. So I think like preparing your answer in advance as to what your reason is for not finishing or whatever might make life a little easier for you.
Maybe I'll say I'm on semaglutide, as a preventative. I just wanted to be on semaglutide.
Side prophylaxis.
Yeah, because I'm sure I'm going to gain like 10 pounds when I come back.
I preemptively started semaglutide for this trip because I knew I was going to be around y'all.
Exactly.
Culturally, I know, again, so in Caribbean culture, sometimes there's a big emphasis on like feeding the men. So do you feel like culturally maybe like your husband will get most of the like eat this type of thing, or not necessarily?
I'm sure, but he's good about like saying no too. But he'll try things. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm down to try it." But like, yeah, he knows. I mean, he's also someone that will stuff himself, but it's kind of been a habit for us. Like, okay, you know what? Like, we know we just want to eat it because it's there, but it doesn't mean we have to.
Any tips for managing that long of a flight? I know this will probably be his time on a flight that long. Maybe not, but I'm assuming that he doesn't go, because how long of a flight is it?
Maybe 13, 14 hours. But
Okay.
we have a layover in Taipei, so it's a whole day. Feels like a whole day. We have economy. We can't afford the business class yet. Someday. But there's like these foot slings that I saw, so hopefully that helps. So you can like rest your feet on it. That way your feet aren't always touching the ground, so you can kind of like lay. But it depends on how tall you are. So like if you're shorter, I think it actually works a little bit better for you. I'm 5'4", so we'll see how it is.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah. Just look up foot sling on Amazon. And then I also found this app called Time Shifter. So that'll help with like the time difference, because the Philippines is 16 hours ahead. So I kind of wanted to like adjust to that. Usually going to Asia isn't so bad, but it's coming back from Asia and then back to the States. It's really hard. So it like tells you when can you drink caffeine, when should you sleep, and then what should you avoid caffeine, when should you get sunlight or like turn on a light to kind of like stimulate that. So I'm excited
Czarina,
for
that's
that.
a really good blog idea for your clients. I know you have a clinic blog just like how I do, but like I would totally read that, like how to adjust from like a different time zone, how to handle a long flight, how to readjust when you get back. I would totally do that.
Yeah. Another thing I like to do, and this was a coworker's tip actually, to just pop a baby aspirin, because we don't want any blood clots on these.
Nobody got time for blood clots. Nope.
No. So I do that, especially if you're on birth control or something. Like that's just a good thing to do. And then there was this like headrest mask. So like you put the strap part on the headrest of your seat, and that way like your head doesn't, like, you know how when you sleep you kind of tend to do this, like I guess if your head is this way, at least it'll keep it that way. So I got that. And then I also have like this, it's called a turtle neck pillow.
Oh, I've used that before on the flights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the other ones. They're too like stuffy. And I feel like I'm choking.
And I feel like they don't do much for my neck. Like I'm always like, I'm supposed to be using this, but I don't really know what it's doing for me. So
yeah,
I feel you on that.
So yeah, so you're able to sleep this way and it's like, it feels better. I'm also a clean freak. So even prior to COVID, I was always with my wipes. I was always wiping down the tray table because you don't know if they just changed a baby's diaper on there or whatever. Some people like to put their feet, and I'm just like, not about that life. So I wipe it off before we take off.
But I found who works in emergency medicine, as an aside, she is 1,000% right. You would not believe the amount of people that come in sick post-travel. And yes, it could be that they are just like tired or they were traveling, but I think that a lot of this comes from like just being on the plane. You're in such close proximity to people, especially for a long flight. So especially to prevent things like neurovirus and like those GI bugs that live on surfaces, you're totally not crazy for wiping everything down. It's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. And then sometimes too, I'll still wear my mask on the plane because like people be coughing and I'm just like, like you said, you're in that enclosed space, can't really get away. So, I'd like to put it on. And then I also found this other cool thing called like the airplane pocket. So you can like actually cover the tray table, but you could put the tray table up and then it has extra pockets for you because like that little tiny pocket, you could barely fit anything in there, right? So I'm excited to use it. You could put like your water bottle in there, put your charging cords, other accessories that you need,
because people next to you are going to be like, who is this Inspector Gadget?
I know, honestly.
But I feel you. Good for you, girl. You ready?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to use them and I will check back and see, were they worth it or not? That could be another thing that I'll mention.
Gosh, please. I would love to know. Yeah. I would love to know because long flights are always like tricky. Elijah wants to go to Japan when he graduates from high school as like his graduation gift. It's like his big dream. So of course I'm going to be down to take him. But you guys, I'm low-key terrified of that flight.
No, Japan is so nice and the people are so friendly. You're going to have an amazing time. And especially...
How long is the flight, Czarina?
It's probably going to be the same because Japan is not that far from the Philippines. Like I think it's 4 hours away, but like they're pretty close to each other. So I have my family members that are in the Philippines. They go to Japan quite frequently, like for fun. Yeah. Do you have any summer trips coming up?
Our summer plans are very low key, mostly because I think we're getting into this soon, but I'm opening a new clinic. So the new clinic opens in August. So that's taking up a lot of our summertime. That and my oldest son is this like very talented track star. So he's doing a lot of training this summer. So we kept the summer very, very low key. But we are doing sort of our yearly trip to Florida, which is always really, really nice. I try to, and I love my family. And I, as a kid, went on amazing vacations all over the world. But I will say this, when I was vacationing as a kid, the vacations tended to be very like itinerary based. Like there was like, okay, we're gonna wake up, we're gonna do this. And like as a kid, I just wanted to chill. I'd be like, man, can I just chill, like play on my Game Boy? Like that's kind of like what I wanted to do. So now that I'm a grown up, I try to, regardless of what other trips we do, because oftentimes we do some other smaller trips during the summer, but I always try to do a trip that's usually about a week long where we rent usually like a really nice house that has like a pool. Our family's there, my mom comes, and like, yes, we go and we do stuff, but we also have a lot of like lazy days by the pool where we like walk to the beach, just hang out, sleep in. We do a lot of like family game nights, and like everybody also just gets like time to unwind. And it's okay to have like a lazy day, which is kind of what we call it in finger quotes. Everybody can just chill because I feel like everybody needs that. We try to make sure that the house has like a lot of space, that everybody gets their own personal space if they need it, grown-ups included. And that's like really, really important to us. And then, the kids love being able to just like play in the pool. And then of course, like we do like little like adventure activities and like have like fun things that we do throughout the week. But definitely a lot of like chill time as well. Cause I think that that's important.
Yeah, I hear so many things about Florida because my in-laws, they love going there. especially this place called Sanibel, I think it's called. I don't know where you guys are staying,
Hmm.
but my mother-in-law, she loves just beaches, but she says that she loves the Florida beaches the most. But like, is it humid over there in Florida
It
during the
is humid, and
summertime?
to be honest, it's so funny. We always go in July because that's when it's my youngest son's birthday month, and he like thinks the trip is
Oh,
for him. So we always go in July, and it works out well because like when you're that little, like a lot of your friends aren't around in the summertime anyway for you to have like a big party, like if you have a
oh, I
school year
know.
birthday. So it's nice that
Yeah.
he gets to do that. But July is not probably the ideal time in Florida just because it's so hot. But like I said, the beach is beautiful. A lot of Caribbean people are attracted to Florida because the beaches remind us of, home or the
Yeah.
Caribbean. There's tons of Jamaicans there in general in Florida, and there tends to be like pretty decent Jamaican food as well.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, Jamaican things that I can't find on my side of the world here in Pennsylvania, I'll like find when I'm in Florida. So that
Oh,
part
very
is
cool.
nice. And this time we picked a house that had a pool that was like kind of like covered. So that way, if it rains, the
Mm.
kids can still have fun and like be in the pool because they're like little pool rats. They just want to like be in the pool. So
Yeah.
like that's their dream. So yeah, so that's it. It will be hot, but like I said, we're gonna keep it low key. Everyone should chill. I want everybody to like sleep in, wake up when they want to. Like I'm very very chill on these vacations, and I let them know in advance. Like these are the days where we're doing activities. That way they kind of like know what's going to be like their busy day. And then they help plan and they like pick out things that they want to do or not. It's cute. The two boys were sitting like Googling like different things they want to do. Um,
Oh.
when I went on that trip in January to visit my girlfriend in Florida, she took me to see the manatees. And they were so cute. It was like they were adorable. They were like kissing and they had these cute little
Hmm.
personalities. It was like so cute to watch. And I showed Max all these videos and now he's like, Mommy, I have to see the manatees on this trip. So that's definitely on our list of things to do. So it should be fun.
Oh.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. Are you guys going to the same part of Florida that you went to earlier this year?
No, no. Earlier this year, I went to Orlando, which is so funny because I always think of Orlando as being like the Disney
Yeah,
place. So it like felt
exactly.
weird to go there. It was like so much fun. It was so much fun as like a grown up to go there and do like adult things that weren't related to kids.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And also my friend that I went to go see, she's another NP, super cool. She doesn't have any kids. She's only married and like most of her friends don't have kids. So it's always so fun for me to like see how people who don't have kids live. In my head, I'm like, y'all living like this? Y'all just go, y'all just like
Do
go to
whatever
the
you
bar after
want.
work. You just do whatever you want.
Yep. No, I
Like
found
this is
it.
what Saturday mornings are. This is so crazy.
Yeah. Actually, I met up with some friends that they just, and they didn't just have a kid. Like he's 15 months now, but I hadn't seen them since then.
Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
new.
yeah. And then they had to dip out by like seven something. And they're like, it's his bedtime now. And then, we're kind of joking, like, that's just your excuse. You just wanted to leave, you know? And I
Kids
think
are a great excuse to leave, not gonna lie.
yeah, so that's just the difference. Like you have like a legit excuse to get out. And people they don't question it. But I also have like a couple of child free friends as well. And the topic just comes up all the time. It's like, why do people have kids? Like I just don't get it. I love my life. Like they always have to kind of justify it. It's so hilarious to me.
It's hard because also in this age range, which I'm mostly talking to like the millennials ish that are listening to this. There's a lot of pressure, and I feel like once you
Yeah.
hit 30, everyone is like, "Why don't you have kids? When are you gonna
Yep.
have kids? When are you getting married?" And if you don't fit in that category, I can totally understand feeling
Yeah.
like a little bit on the defense. Even
Yeah.
though if you don't have kids and you're over 30, I commend you because you're probably living your best life right now. And it doesn't mean that people that have kids are wrong, but it's funny because I see both sides because I had my first one so young. So,
Yeah.
right, like I'll still be fun fact, like when my oldest son is in college, I'll still be in my 30s. So I had him very, very young, which is super fun now. But it's like I also have friends that are my age that have like newborn babies, which like I'm not really in that. My youngest is 7, almost 8. So I'm not really in that like baby stage of life right now. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's different, and now I kind of know how my friends who don't have kids feel. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your baby is super cute, but at the same time, I'm glad that I don't have a toddler to chase after right now.
Yeah, so that was another thing my friend was bringing up is that one of her friends is pregnant. Like, I think she's due pretty soon, but she already booked all these trips after the baby, and she's
Mm.
planning on bringing the baby. And I'm just like, very interesting. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
like, I don't know how that's gonna work. And I mean, these are trips with her friends. Like, she invited my child-free friend to these trips, and she's like, I'm sorry, like I cannot, I'm not gonna go with you with your baby.
No, I
I
don't
feel
like
like,
good for her for setting boundaries.
yeah, I feel like if, and it's not impossible to have trips with a newborn, but I think it should just kind of be kept to the family, and like, don't invite your friends, especially if they're child free.
Sometimes you
Like,
sometimes you got to read the room. What
yes,
person who does not have kids wants to vacation with a newborn? Honestly, a
right,
lot of people
right,
don't. You know,
right.
a lot of people would say they don't want a vacation with their own kids, let alone with, like, you know what I mean? Like, that would not be. I think sometimes you have to like read the room and just know that certain things are not for, you know, it's like the people that are like, oh, like we're gonna bring our baby to happy hour. Like, if you do that and you've got the type of kid where like you can do that, then great. But just know that a lot of people don't want to like hear a
Yeah.
baby crying at the bar, and know that, like, is it really that fun for you to be at the bar with your baby? You know what I mean? Like, are you really having fun, or are you feeling like, I would feel like stressed and anxious if I had a baby at a bar. I'd be like, I don't want him to like bother people, and this isn't, you know, time and place for everything. And you learn like balance and what works. Before Max, that's our youngest one, we used to go on like very like fancy bougie vacations. We loved like a good all inclusive, you know. We would like, you know, we would do a lot of like more traveling that was like fancier than going to Florida. But
Right.
like for the type of wild child that my youngest one is, those vacations were sometimes a little bit stressful. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not like my first one, which is totally okay. We love him to death, but he's the type who will like turn up wherever he can. My man likes to jump on beds. Like, he's my wild child, which means that having him in a very bougie hotel or like a cute little boutique hotel where people don't have kids is like stressful for us, because the whole time we're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Max, please just be quiet. Please just
Yeah.
be quiet. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we're just like, our idea of fun is to have him in a space where he can be comfortable and free, so we can be comfortable and get a mental break. I think you got to pick what's best for you, but just know that that newborn stage does end, and eventually you do kind of get your like feel like yourself again once your kids are a little bit older. Right now, I feel like when you have young kids, you're just worried about keeping them alive. You're just like, I have to stay alive. Like, please don't eat that poisonous thing. Don't run across the street. But you do get to a stage where you kind of get like mental peace again. And when that does happen, for anybody that's listening that's not at that stage yet, please take time for yourself. Take a trip for yourself. Go on a trip with your man. Take yourself out to dinner. I've got a friend that did that recently. She took herself out on a whole date to a very expensive steakhouse. I was like, girl, who are you with? She was like, my damn self. Good for you. She left her house because like she was like, I'm tired of all these childcare things, like, because they have some childcare issues. She's like, I just took myself out to dinner and I'm enjoying myself right now. They cooked the steak just like how I want it. I've got a nice glass of red with me. She was like, girl, I'm having the time of my life. And I was like, you go, girl. Good for you.
Oh, that's awesome. I also watched the South Park episode recently. I don't know
Ooh, I
if
saw that in your story. Please share.
it wasn't my idea. It was Nick's idea, of course. He was like, well, they've got this special coming out. It's about Ozempic
That
and
tracks.
stuff.
Yeah, that sounds.
And I was like, it's still on the air? Like, this show has been on since I was like a little kid. So I was like, huh. So I was like, okay, fine, let's watch it. I had very low expectations, but I don't want to give too much away, especially if you haven't seen it yet. It's been out for a while now. I think you can catch it on Paramount Plus, but they did a pretty good job. It was really funny. They were very specific. So like they had one story that was like these moms that were taking the Ozempic brand name, and they're all wearing like these crop tops. They're all like super skinny and stuff, and they're all like having parties, and they're all just doing like Ozempic parties and injecting themselves and whatever. And then the other plot was they're trying to get Cartman to lose weight. He's a fat one. Cartman's always the mean one. He's always fat. So they're trying to get him to lose weight. And so they were just trying to
He
talk
like
about.
Cartman doesn't talk, right? Is that the deal?
No, that's Kenny.
Or he.
That's Kenny.
Kenny doesn't talk.
Kenny doesn't talk. Cartman's the one that is fat, and he always like has mean things to say and stuff like that.
And Quagmire is the one who says giggity.
That is a whole different show, girl. We talked about this during the trip, actually. I remember this. This is Family Guy. You're talking about Family Guy.
Oh my gosh. I said it so confident, right? Like, oh, like Quagmire. He's one that says giggity and he's a perv.
You are right. Quagmire does do that, but not on South Park.
To my credit, they all sound like they would hang out together.
Fair. They probably would. So he goes to his doctor and they're like trying to prescribe him Ozempic, and they're like, oh, you can't, you're not eligible for it or something. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to find a compounding pharmacy. I was like, damn, they went to compounding pharmacy. Yeah. So I felt like I was being called out. They did a really good job though. I wonder how they got all this knowledge. Like, I mean, I'm sure people have been talking about compounding pharmacies and whatnot, but if it was personal experience, I thought that was really funny that they shared it in that way. So yeah, I really liked it. It was typical South Park stuff, but if that's the only episode you watch, like, it'll be fine. You don't have to watch other episodes to understand this. I just found it really fun. So,
but wait, so is Cartman able to get it? Like, does he have results from the compounding pharmacy? I have questions.
Cartman's friends, they start making the compounded meds on their own. There's like a company in India, and they get like the powder, they reconstitute it, so they're making it. The moms that couldn't get their Ozempic anymore, they like ransack the friend's house where they're making it in the garage, and they steal all of the medication. So unfortunately, so then he's unable to like continue on with the stuff. It was a crazy episode. It was great.
That's a great. Somebody on their like creative team must have been on compounded semaglutide for them to be
it was so oddly specific, but I just really like how they also mentioned the healthcare industry. That's a clip that I posted on Instagram where they're going back and forth. They're like, we got the authorization or something from our doctor, and they go to the place, so there's only one old man, and he's like on his typewriter. He's like, or his like really slow computer. He's like, okay, let me like put in your order or whatever. And there's like stacks of papers behind him and stuff like that.
A South Park episode sounds funny AF. I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. You should.
So I hope that you have the best trip ever.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
You're going to have like so much fun, and I'm so excited for your husband to be able to like see like what the Philippines is like and experience that with you. And you totally deserve a break. You're one of the hardest working people I know. So you get lots of rest.
Yeah, I was thinking like I'll, put a magic carpet, and then he'll be like my Jasmine, and I'm like, showing him.
A whole new
Exactly. But anyway, you also have fun on your Florida trip with your family, and
I miss you, friend. Who am I gonna come?
You can always text me. I'm still available over text.
Oh, I already know I was gonna text you.
No, that's why there's do not disturb. Like, that's,
exactly.
If you don't know how to use that thing, then it's your fault.
Exactly. I'm about to do that math to figure out what time it is for you in your zone. If you don't want me, do not disturb me.
Yeah, exactly. You could put people on mute. You could do, that's.
But you know what? You're already used to this from me because we already are 3 hours apart, and I already text you at wildly inappropriate times and actually act like you're awake. It'll be like 7 a.m.
No, it's fun.
Standard time.
Which, I mean, I don't mind that. It's just funny when you text at like, I don't think midnight your time or 1 a.m. I'm like, does this girl sleep?
No, never. You have a great time. We'll be in touch. You guys, you will hear from us again in 2 weeks with new episodes and a new guest. And yeah,
and we'll have more of these unscripted episodes. Like, who knows what we'll do next. So tune in to find out. All right. Everyone take care.
See you guys.
All right. Bye. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast, give us a rating, and share with your family and friends who might find it helpful.
And remember, we love hearing from our listeners. Connect with us on our social media channels or shoot us an email with your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future topics. Don't forget to check out our website, www.theweighInNPs.com, and to follow us on Instagram at the Weigh-In NPs.
If you need one-on-one help with your weight loss or wellness journey, book a private consultation with us. The A-List Clinic can be reached at www.thealistclinic.com or on Instagram and TikTok at the A-List Clinic.
And my clinic, Lifefire Weight and Wellness, can be reached at www.lifefireweight.com or on Instagram and TikTok at lifefireweight.
Thanks again for tuning into the Weigh-In podcast with your hosts, Katie and Czarina. Until next time, take care and be well.
The information in this podcast is for general information only. It is not intended as medical advice and should not be relied upon as a substitute for medical consultation with a qualified medical provider familiar with your medical needs.